Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. I'm excited to talk about the return of one of my favorite shows on Amazon Prime, The Boys, back for season 3. So let's get nasty with this shit because there's a lot of wild things to talk about. The first 3 episodes are out already, so we're going to take this slowly through each episode. So let's start with episode 1, Payback. What a fucking ride, Akram. Tell me your thoughts on it.
Oh yeah, it's more extreme than the other seasons. I feel like it's ramping up to a scale where probably in like a future season we're gonna see something completely wild. Maybe passing like an NC-17 rating, I swear, because I did not expect that from this episode.
They're pushing the boundaries of what an mature rating can be in a show. And it's so funny because we're coming right out of like Obi-Wan and like Stranger Things, where it's kind of like PG, and now we're going back and forth between like mature and PG. But go ahead, tell me like initial thoughts for episode 1.
Oh man, it's so good to see the boys back. It's been so long, and this episode, I'm glad to see like a lot of people's styles are changing, and I'm glad to see where everyone's headspace is at. And it constantly feels like there's a tension going on too, especially with some of the soups. So I really love this episode. I feel like it was a good taste for what's to come, and I'm glad they released all 3 episodes. What did you think about it?
I loved and I cringed in the first 20 minutes of this first episode. I'm sure everybody else that watched it can agree. Don't watch it around your family and friends or what they say, NSFW.
yeah.
So, but no, I thought it was great. It's been a while since I've watched season 2, so I had to recap on it a little bit just to remind me what I remember. I remember the important things. I remember, like obviously the Congress scene and Stormfront. So they recapped on some of those important plot narratives. But we obviously open up with the big premiere of the 7 Dawn, or what is it, the Dawn of the 7, whatever.
Yes.
It's like a Justice League parody. Tell
Yeah,
me what you thought
exactly.
about like that red carpet premiere. It's so funny how like it feels like this could actually be like it, because it's basically a parody of like was like the big superhero movie like
Exactly.
tropes. So what did you think about like that opening scene?
Oh, that was awesome. I mean, they got Charlize Theron for this too.
I know, that was
she's
so
everywhere. That was so funny. And then also like it was kind of a parody of like Release the Snyder Cut too, like that little
Yeah.
jab
Mhm.
later on. I thought that was really cool. I felt a little bit nervous for Huey, especially like when he's like brushing side by side with Homelander.
And
I-
A-Train too, because A-Train was the one
Oh,
that
yeah.
killed his girlfriend in the first season. So that was weird seeing him like side by side, like how far they've come.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I think this whole season is about like just trying to repress certain things or certain emotions, and you kind of have to go back to just being this brutal animal. And obviously here, right off the bat, again, we see like this tension rising because these characters shouldn't really be like interacting with each other. So I thought that whole scene in the premiere was wonderful. And of course, like I love Starlight. She was
and
awesome.
Huey looks good in a suit, man. I
Yeah.
mean, like Jack Quaid, man, he can pull a 3-piece.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
And he's being so public now with Starlight, which I really thought was interesting because they were
I know.
trying to hide it so much in season 2, even though it was so obvious that they were dating.
Yeah.
But their relationship is taking a bumpy turn so far. But then we go to the next scene, obviously, which is the party scene, and we get this Ant-Man Scott Lang villain dude.
Right.
Tell me what you thought of that scene.
That was really gratuitous. That honestly, I don't think anything could top that. But then again, maybe next season or next episode will top it. But that was so gratuitous. And we did see a little tease of that character in season 1 when Butcher was showing like Huey the ropes of like how soups are really behave. That character, I just couldn't believe what I seen.
Man, when I tell you, I thought nobody could beat the love sausage scene from season 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, yo, my eyes, and I watched this shit at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was not mentally prepared.
I wasn't either. I just freaked out. I didn't know what to think.
Because honestly, like excuse my French, I really thought he was gonna go from the ass.
Right.
But then you see just this large slit in front of you. Oh my god, but no, yeah, they of course The Boys is known for not holding back on the violence and the gore. But it works. It works. It's in a way,
Mhm.
it's classy. Like they do it at appropriate moments, right?
Right.
Because they've done other shit like that. Like obviously the Congress scene was like a huge fucking like gore fest, and what season one with Translucent when they blew him
Mhm.
up. But that I thought was an interesting fight because it's like Ant Man turned up like to the rated R version, right?
Oh god.
Um, so like I said, don't watch this with your parents, guys. Also, I just thought it was nice hearing Kimiko have a voice. Like she sings so well.
I freaked out 'cause I was like, "Wait, that's not
She
her,
suddenly
no
started
way."
talking. I was like, "What?"
I know, I'm glad again, it's like everyone they kinda like, that's what I got from the start, is like everyone kinda has this version of themselves they want to be, but they can't get it, with this
Mhm.
conflict, and so I thought that was really endearing, because I said it again, that little scene, I thought that was really sweet. I
I
love
thought
I
it's
love her.
I thought it's funny that Butcher uses Amazon. It's such like a
That's
little.
the biggest Easter egg.
It's so meta. It's like
I know.
Facebook's meta.
Exactly, and buy now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But so Butcher is kind of he's dialing it down a bit this season.
Mhm.
He's working for Huey, who would have thought, who is actually working for the FBSA, which is the Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, and he's working with Victoria Newman, aka the head popper from season two, who we found out at the end. But it's nice to see Huey kind of have like a nice life. He's got like a little break from season two. Tell me what you thought about it.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting because we haven't seen like Huey and Starlight be like really free, and so I feel like this opens up a lot of possibilities. But at the same time, too, it kind of puts me on edge because I knew who like popped the heads of those Congress people, and I also felt like a little sorry for like his first love, right? I was just thinking like I wonder if she'll pop back into his mind eventually because it's kind of
Literally.
like a thing. Yeah, right, exactly. It's kind of a thing where like probably in the future he'll feel guilty, and we did kind of get some of that in the next episodes coming forward. So yeah, what did
Mhm.
you think about it?
That was a little tragic because after seeing episode 3, we know what happens, but for
Right.
now, yeah, I thought it was nice seeing, like, Huey just have, like, a normal life for a bit after he went through so much, with the Butcher gang, but I like that, him and Starlight are trying to work the angle, right, they're trying to do things differently from Butcher's point of view, but, they they're kinda getting things done a little bit slowly in their own way. They're fighting back, like, I think, like, Huey even said, like, trope, or soup was it soup collateral was down, like,
Mm,
60% or something. So it's cool, like, they're, like, little, like, activists in a way.
exactly.
Um, but then we, of course, see my boy Butcher. He's back,
Oh
and he's
yes.
even better than ever, and
Yes.
he's kind of, fighting temptation after well, Stan Edgar is, he introduces us to the new Compound V, which is a V24, and it's kind of like a pocket version of it has temporary effects of Compound V. It's like what 24 hours or something they said.
Yeah.
Like you can be like a soup for just like a little bit. Um, and I thought it was so interesting. What do you think of like Maeve being like working with Butcher in the background?
I think it makes a lot of sense, especially after season two, and it's a welcome surprise as well because like I always believe that character will do the right thing a little bit later on. I'm just now I fear for her life basically because like if Homelander finds out, like she's completely fucked. Um, but as we see, like Homelander is like he's so manipulative this season as well. Like instead of using his powers, he's kind of like really talky and kind of like blackmailing other people as well. So like I really worry for her. And also, mind you, I think that comes out later on, but I find it so funny too. And I wonder how Maeve will deal with this. Like everyone's like so woke now, especially in Vought, like
I know.
everywhere. So I wonder how she'll deal with that. But I love that little interaction that she had with Butcher. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, she's trying to be a force for good, I
Yeah.
think. And we saw in like her little moments in season 2 where she's kind of like regretting her decision, and it was kind of sad seeing like her backstory, like how she can't be with like her lover. Um so I like that she's like kind of being like this little like underground source for Butcher.
Mm.
Um but what else happens? Oh, and so the big thing, of course, that happens is so like Stan Edgar has a meeting with Starlight and Homelander, and the big thing that happened was, after the Stormfront incident, Stan is like, "All right, well, now I'm gonna make Starlight the co-captain, right, with Homelander." So you can really see, like, Homelander is not liking this shit this season, and you can see, like, the like we saw this in the trailer, like, his little winces, like, in the press
Mhm.
conference.
Mhm.
But yeah, you could tell, man, he is not having it this season. So I'm kinda, like, fearful because like, he's, like, bottling up all this rage inside
Yes.
for, like, a big climactic battle. But it's cool that Starlight is kinda, like, getting more traction, this season.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like now the boys they have a lot of like people like in their inside group too to kind of like keep eyes and tabs on, and
Mhm,
there really are like the CIA. So like at least Starlight, and plus Starlight represents a lot too because she's just a strong female character
mhm.
going against Homelander, which is terrifying.
Yeah, definitely. But we got we got to see other characters as well. We got to see MM return.
Oh yeah,
And now it's cool that he's with his daughter back. That was one of my favorite things about the ending of season 2 was that he got to, rejoin his daughter.
I
But did he
know.
go through a divorce or something? Because like he's
Yeah,
separated now,
I
right?
feel so bad, man. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh man," I felt so bad for him.
I
And
know.
and mind you, too, it's like he has to be so hypocrite too, because like the daughter's like birthday party is filled with like soups,
Mhm.
like propaganda and whatnot, and toys. I was like, "Oh
I
man."
know. You have to, yeah, that stupid Homelander I feel like I saw that at like Spirit Halloween one time.
Yes,
That Homelander costume.
I want one. I
I
want
know.
some of the collectibles.
They probably have, like, the 7, like, all the outfits out.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's so funny because like, they're actual merchandise, so it works so well for the show because 'cause they're so, marketed.
Exactly.
But moving on to season not season, I'm sorry, episode 2, which is The Only Man in the Sky. Uh, Tell me what you thought about it.
Oh, yeah, that was a really good episode. It keeps ramping higher and higher and higher with like the little tensions here and there. And I also like that we also get like a little bit more Frenchy here as well.
Mhm,
And what's up with Frenchie's style too? I started to notice Frenchie's uh, like there's little subtle cues. It's probably like a signs like thing, but like
mhm,
Frenchie kind of looks like he's evolving to like show more of himself too. Like he's kind of like branching out, probably as a distraction. Again, there's like this little theme of like people trying to be who they try to be who they want to be, or at least imagine it, but they can't really be. Also we
mhm.
do get a little bit of talks for Soldier Boy here in this episode too, which is really cool.
Yeah, played
um
by, Jensen Ackles,
oh
so
yeah,
we got to see, like, what his character's like, and he's kinda like this douchebag, like Captain America.
yeah, they had the same music I think too. This was like the one the theme park, right? So like they had
Yeah,
this the same music when they were showing the Captain America thing. That was so funny.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like seeing, every character in this show is, like, a parody
right,
of, like, a Marvel or, like, a DC character, which
right.
is so funny, like, seeing and also, like, Crimson Countess, that's, Andrea
Yeah,
from Walking
Walking
Dead,
Dead.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, she hasn't, like, aged a bit, she looks actually really good.
No, she's great here. She's
Mhm.
actually really funny here too.
And, Gunpowder, I think, is, one of the actors that played one of the hobbits from Lord of the Rings.
And that was so like this show is like such like just a commentary on soups too in
Mhm,
general, like Marvel DC, but it's also such a commentary in real life. And mind you, look at what's happening in real life now and stuff. And he's just at an
mhm.
NRA
I know.
convention.
I know, it's so funny because you wouldn't think, like, Butcher, like, that's his scene, but, like, he's, like, so
Yeah.
disgusted by, like, this, like, gun show.
I was like, wow,
It
it's so
speaks a lot to our
relatable.
times, as you always say.
Exactly, exactly. It's so funny.
And isn't it so funny that, like, Stormfront has, like, her own little, like, right-wing, like, cult of,
Oh
like,
my
movement?
gosh. I know the storm front or like
4 more years.
I know.
Stop the steal.
I didn't expect that. And mind you, too, like Homelander's trying to deal with the repercussions of that
Mhm,
relationship. So it must be like a like it's funny, like he's gonna gain new followers in some places, but like lose some in other places. And I feel like that's only gonna add to the tension where like he's gonna hate other humans. Well, he thinks like other people are subhumans, as you like to call
mhm.
people sometimes. So
Oh, no. Don't call me out. Um, but, yeah, so one of the biggest reveals, I think, of episode 2, actually, Yeah, it was the reveal of Victoria Newman, who is actually
Oh
not
yeah.
who she is. So we figured that out already at the end of season 2, but she's Nadia. Like this guy Chris was trying to like talk to her at the end of episode 1 and call her out. I don't know if you read the comics. I haven't really touched base with the comics, so I don't know too much about her backstory. But tell me what you thought of it.
No, I don't. I know that the guy was, I believe, from season one. He was the one that Starlight was trying to blackmail. Remember that he was the guy who let people
Mhm.
like cut off his arms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I thought he was gonna grow back his head because that's what happens later on. She kind of like blows off his head a little bit. Or at least does more to that a little bit later on. Yeah, I thought that
Mhm.
was really tragic too. I was like, wow, her mind is so manipulated. And at the same time too, I was thinking like her adoptive father had to go through so many like had to like do this song and dance to like not piss her off, right? Because that's her backstory. She did kill like her foster parents and stuff like that, or probably her real parents.
Blew their fucking heads off in those photos. I was like,
Yeah,
"Holy
but
shit."
like that's how good he is at manipulating people that he could find a
Mhm.
way to kind of like manipulate her. And so I'm wondering like how come he didn't do this since the start with Homelander? Because obviously I believe that she's probably a deterrent to Homelander. I'm thinking that's why he went specifically to her just in
Fail
case.
safe. Yeah, she's definitely the
Yeah.
fail safe. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was like, that was such a revealing moment, like, Stan
Mhm.
Edgar is actually, like, her adoptive father, like, it makes sense because like, she's so good at, like, pulling strings, and, I think she's his actually, like, she's his way into Congress, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Because
for
she's a
sure.
senator, right? She talks about, like, holding Soups accountable, so I think in a way it's she's his way of, like, selling this Compound V stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Um But moving on, so we got, oh, also, we didn't mention, seeing Ryan again. He's in the safe
Oh
house,
yeah.
and I feel so bad after what happened to Becca at the end of
I
season
did
2,
too.
but
Yeah.
I think it's like, there was actually, like, very, like, bonding moments between, Butcher and Ryan because I like, Butcher wanted to kill him at the end of season 2, right?
Mhm. I
Like, he
know.
wanted to murder him, but, I think he's growing on Butcher a little bit.
And also like it kind of gives Butcher this like lifeline back to humanity as well. And like what happens if he loses that or he tarnishes that reputation of Ryan, and probably Butcher will like be the next WMD, especially what we
Mhm.
see later on with what he's acquired. I think Ryan's like relationship with Butcher is really important. And I love the actor who plays Ryan too. He's so sweet and I feel so bad for him. Um and also he has like a little anger inside. He has a little bit of his father in there too. So I'm like
Mhm.
wondering, is it better to let Butcher kill him too? It's like one of these type of questions where like if you ask yourself this, it's like it's a hard decision to make really. Like when you see something so powerful like that, you don't want another Homelander.
Well,
So
I
it's
think
it's
it's
really
like,
complicated.
yeah, you gotta treat him kind of like Eleven from Stranger Things. You gotta give him some training. You gotta make him understand the limits of his powers, but in a way that's not so forced like Homelander's.
Mm,
To the point where like he feels like a weapon, basically, and his ego is just like this thing that turns him into like a villain, basically.
right.
Um, but we also got what else happened in episode 2?
It's quite a
Oh,
lot
the
still.
the girl's suicide attempt.
Oh
That was
yeah.
crazy.
I know. Homelander's like really like this season. He's
He's off
really
the
like,
rails this season, man.
yeah, that was wild. No, yeah, it's like that's the thing. Certain things tick him off, and we get that sound cue. And so, like, I was like, I thought he was just gonna kill her or something like that, but he forced her to jump. Or
Wasn't it
I,
ironic that, like, it was about her suicide, but then we see Stormfront suicide, and that's what turns her around?
I know, and that's
That was
another.
fucked up, man. I had nobody, like, catch that, like, him, like, killing her.
When I was more fucked up was the hand job scene that when he was
Oh,
speaking to
no, before that,
Stormfront.
yeah.
That was pretty fucked up. But no, yeah, it's like, and in here you also see like he really has no regard for like human life.
Mhm,
What's keeping him really at bay again is just like people liking him and loving him, right? We'll see a
mhm,
little later on like what happens if that's taken away. But here, yeah, that was no regard for her life whatsoever, and that made me more fearful. Like there's like little evidences here, um, little things that can make you really be so fucking afraid of this character. And I feel like we're
mhm.
gonna see a lot more worse stuff happening, especially revolving this character. And I'm terrified of him. I think this season he did an excellent job.
Yeah, Anthony Starr, man, he really gives it his all this season 'cause,
Very good.
he was kind of like put on the sidelines last season just because Stormfront was like
Right.
the big villain.
Right.
But here he's definitely in the forefront, and he's definitely like bringing back like the Stormfront thing. Like they keep like pushing this thing on him where like you dated a Nazi or whatever. So
Mhm.
I feel kind of bad for him in a way, but at the same time, like, yeah, he did date a Nazi. Like he was cool with it. But isn't it so funny? Like you mentioned, like the hand job scene
Oh,
where
yeah.
she's talking about like, oh, this you need to be like the master race, and he's like, no, we don't need that. Like he has like morals, like fucked up morals, but in a way he doesn't want to be like associated with like Nazis.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing too is like he is the master race really, like just being Superman, this version of Superman. He is like a god, right? So it's like Nazis don't got nothing on Homelander, I guess.
He's basically what Omni Man or like evil Superman from Injustice.
God, I want to see those three fight: Omni Man,
Right.
Homelander, and him fight.
Like a Spider-Man meme where they're just all pointing at
Right,
each other.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, man, they really up the scale for the violence in episode 2. Um, and yeah, Homelander's meltdown at the end when at the what was it, his birthday party.
Oh my god,
He
yeah,
does not give a fuck anymore. Like he totally like I think that in a way was kind of like a middle finger to Stan Edgar, just
yeah,
because he's been like holding him back this season and giving Starlight uh more spotlight.
bro. When I watched that, it was like non flashbacks of the Will Smith slap, like where you just
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
like this. I was just like this, looking at my screen. I was
Isn't
like,
it
I can't
crazy how
believe it.
this show like predicts so many things? Like like they do this months in
Exactly.
advance before all of this shit comes out in
Yeah.
like real life, but then it hits so close to home.
It's the next Simpsons, basically. It really
Basically.
is. That's what makes it so special. There's so many things that makes it so special and that stands out. Yeah, and I think
Mhm.
that's one of those. It's so relatable, which
Definitely,
makes it even
definitely,
more scarier.
definitely. um, but also, we got to see Butcher flirt with Temptation a little bit with
Mm.
the Compound V24, and that's what do you think of that? Because like he kind of told Maeve, he was like, "What made you think like me of all people would take this?" But because he's been like his whole shtick, this show has been like he's totally against soups. Like it's he like that's like the lowest of the low for him. But now he's like fuck it, like to beat VOD at their own game, we gotta fight fire with fire, right?
Exactly. Now the gloves are off, as Huey says later on, and this is the only way. It's like basically guerrilla warfare in the city, and so yeah, he's which makes me also fear him too, because later on we also do hear like he has this anger inside of him, and I think it speaks to our society today, especially with gun rights or something. Some people have so much anger inside of them. Well, Butcher can be a WMD right now, right? He's basically
Hmm.
like he can be another Homelander. And so what happens? What happens when you unleash him? It's a scary thought because blinded by anger, he could possibly kill the ones that he cares for a lot. So whereas Homelander kind of like cares for people just because they like him, but
Hmm.
if he loses everything, what else do you have? Well, it kind of feels like Butcher's only main crutch is the boys, the gang. So what happens if he does something to lose them? And I think that's what's keeping him back to humanity. And plus Ryan, I thought that it's a really interesting dynamic. I really think it's like a complicated situation, and I enjoyed it so much. And I enjoyed to see what's coming next because he is brutal. He is
Hmm.
really brutal.
Yeah, the gloves are off now, and I love that little sit down that Butcher had too with
Oh my
Homelander.
god, that was so good. I
He's
love that.
like blood and bone, man. That's he was like scorched earth. Like they have such a respect for each other, but at the same time
Yeah.
they hate each other so much. Like they hate who they work for, but they hate each other more, right?
Oh, that's such an epic tale. I hope that Obi-Wan and Darth Vader sit down just like that at some like somebody's apartment and speak
Right.
like that, I swear. Cuz I love that scene. It was such like a tense scene, but also like this little calm before the storm, I loved
Hmm.
it.
But okay, so now we get to episode 3, Barbary Coast. Um, Tell me what you thought because we got a little bit of like Starlight. I want to say Star Lord, Starlight's backstory with her little like Britney Spears like
Oh
pageant
yeah.
thing. I thought that was cute, but and then it kind of brings it back towards the end where it's like a parody. Like now she has to kind of fake this persona. But tell me, what were your favorite moments from episode 3?
Oh yeah, I just like the intensity that Huey has also with Nadia, and I also love I just love seeing some more insights on Starlight because it again it's like a real thing too. Like when you force especially child actors to do something like that, they get
Hmm.
corrupted later on. But she's such a sweetheart. That's why I think she's such a great female role model as a character. Like, and I think she'll come down in history as that because I love that she
Hmm.
kind of prevailed and she kind of sees through all the bullshit too. And I also like to see a little bit of like her past fling. Uh,
Oh, it's super Sonic.
yeah, I actually like that guy. I'm not gonna lie, I actually like him. I think he's
I
like
don't know who
really,
that
really
actor is.
sweet.
I feel like I've seen him somewhere.
I don't know. It's such a like a parody on Backstreet Boys, I believe, right? Um, yeah, I really enjoyed this episode a lot, and we also get some more stuff with Frenchie too, which I thought was really
Hmm.
interesting. Some things that was revealed, I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
we saw that chick Sherry from I think
yeah,
she was from season 1.
yeah.
Um, that when we first introduced her, and she's kind of like her past is catching up to her. So she's on the run from like this Russian gang, which actually is convenient in the end. But yeah, so she says goodbye to Frenchie, and Frenchie wants to help her too. But we got this. This was the real reveal of this episode was Operation Charlie.
Oh yes.
So Butcher, confronts Mallory, who he's thought has been his ally this whole time. But she's been actually been hiding a lot from him. But yeah, what do you think of that scene, that whole reveal with like Soldier Boy and young Stan Edgar too? That was surprising.
Oh, I was surprised about young Black Noir. I was like,
Oh yeah.
"Oh shit," which is funny because that completely changes like the origin of Black Noir from the comics. Black Noir from the comics is actually a clone of Homelander. Just
Hmm.
watch keeping tabs
Yeah,
on
he is a clone.
Homelander.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that was like I was shocked. But whoever like that person they casted to be young Mallory like was spot on. She looked
Spot
exactly
on.
like
Yeah.
her. Yeah, it was wonderful. I love seeing like a young Stan Edgar too, and I love seeing Soldier Boy too. Like
Hmm.
he's such an asshole. He's such kind of like a cowboy, you know what I mean? Like a this douchebaggy cowboy.
Hmm.
And I hope that he kind of has a redemption later on, kind of like Lamplighter, that he kind of became likable towards the end a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, I hope we see some of that here because obviously I don't think he's gonna come back for sure. And I just love the costume reveal. Jensen Ankles like really fits in that costume really well. Like I love the whole thing. I thought it was really cool though, and also like it doesn't matter what year it is, soups still kill like random humans no matter what, like
Hmm.
because they were literally killing some of her side, so they have no regard, and I think that again that makes it even more scary, and I'm glad they do show the turning point for Mallory. So what did you
Hmm.
think about it?
Well, I think it's ironic. It's like instead of the first Avenger, like Soldier
Oh
Boy
yeah.
was the first douchebag,
Yeah, exactly.
right? The first like soup asshole we get, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, we saw like Payback was his little Avengers, or what was it, the Howling Commandos
Right,
in
right.
Marvel Comics. But they look so young, like in what was it? Because they were in the 40s, right?
No, no,
Fighting.
that was that no, that
Well, they were
well,
fighting Nazis in World War II. So
yeah, but in here it was like in the 80s.
yeah, but they still kinda look really young too. I was surprised.
I don't know what happens. So
Maybe
I
it's
got
Compound V that
confused
makes it look younger. I don't know.
for sure. But I thought, so see what they were talking about this reactor. I thought at first, Soldier Boy, like he became somehow frozen in time during the
Mhm.
80s. But then when they showed this, when they showed in episode 2, like him in the 1940s, so something must have happened, or at least because of Compound V, like he's like Stormfront basically.
Mhm.
Yeah, but this was really cool. This was really interesting to see because it really relates to like I know the history of Philadelphia too, and yeah, no, because with the cocaine, they're trying to basically
Yeah.
sell it to minorities, stuff like
Mhm.
that, and it's fucking
Yeah, the
relatable,
relevancy to, like, history too, I thought was interesting because like,
really.
what was it? I think I don't know if, well, like, it has ties to, like, real world events, like
Right.
the communist,
In the Cold War and stuff.
takeover of
Yeah.
the, South Americas, and then, like you said, like, the cocaine epidemic, with minority communities. So
Mhm.
I like that it has ties in there a little bit, to explain like certain historical events, right? Like Vought has always been like they're in the shadows, like manipulating events in a way.
Mhm.
But yeah, seeing young Stan Edgar, that threw me off too, like as well as Mallory, because like it's like, and that's like I love how it's like that was the moment for her that she decided like she needs to take action against Soups too. But yeah, I also kind of feel bad for MM too, because I don't know if we saw what happened with his family, but
Mm-mm.
apparently like Soldier Boy like killed his family or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. So when the hell did that happen? So that must have happened obviously before that flashback that we
Hmm.
seen. I thought I was a little confused because we never got any mention of Soldier Boy. Did we get mention of Soldier? No, I don't think we have that father got killed by
Not that
Soldier
I
Boy.
can remember.
Yeah, so this threw me off. I was like, "Oh shit."
Mhm. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like every member of the Butcher Gang now has some in some way some soup that
Yeah.
had like killed a family member or friend of
Yeah.
loved one, right?
Right.
So now they all have kind of like shared beef
Right.
with Vought, and that
Yeah.
it brings them like the hate really like brings them all back together, and I love that so much because they were trying so hard to like do things by the book, right? Like the straight and narrow, but now it's kinda like it's forcing their hand, they gotta do things like the hard way now, like I said, like fight fire with fire. Um, the only thing else I can remember about this episode was the Deep eating that fucking octopus.
Oh man, I
That
felt
was
so bad.
that 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 was so, like I feel like they're gonna get fucking, like, PETA, like, commenting
Oh
or,
man.
like, lawsuits for, like, animal cruelty or some shit.
I know, I felt so bad seeing that. I was like,
Poor Timothy.
"Damn, Homelander, you evil motherfucker."
Eat the oct what'd she say? She texted, like, "Eat the fucking octopus."
Yeah, that's interesting because she's like really like she's an odd character. Honestly, she is odd. I wonder if she's gonna die like later on. I hope not though because she's like she brings out like the worst. I'd say like you'll think the best, but no, the
Mhm.
worst in the deep. I guess I don't know.
Right.
It's like it's so political too. It's like such a political thing.
Mhm.
But also one thing I would like to mention briefly too is like again like you were saying hate and stuff like that. Everyone in this so far in these 3 episodes are constantly like berating each other in some way, shape, or form, or trying to force this persona. And I really do enjoy the actor who plays Frenchie in the season thus far because we do see him like dressing more extravagantly. But if you notice, like his mannerism seems like he's like coked up. He's always like this, like moving a lot and shit
Mhm.
like that this season. And I like the fact that after the conversation he has with the Russian, that we get some more insights why he talked to the Russian later on.
Mhm.
I like the fact that he automatically like puts a lot of nicotine patches and stuff like that too.
Mhm.
He's trying to change like this person that he once was. And so going back to like the octopus scene and like just Homelander manipulating people. I feel like this season is good. It's such a toxic environment for everybody, and especially everyone has formed through hate that I think there's gonna be major casualties later on. And the most important casualty out of the whole world is the octopus. Rest in peace. Hashtag rest in peace octopus.
Rest in peace. That man was the real MVP for
Yeah.
this season. That was wor that was almost I was gonna say almost worse than the dolphin from, season 2
Yeah.
that crashed out of the truck
I know.
or the whale.
I know, I know.
Dude, every time like, the Deep cannot have, like, fucking pets, dude. Like, every pet that, like, he has around, like, just, like, ends up in a horrible fucking death.
I feel bad 'cause he's so stupid. He's like looking at it, like when he was with his girl, he's like, "Yeah, you like that? Huh?
Yeah, with the
Where?"
oct
He's always so like silly, like, "Huh? What did you say?" or something, and they just die.
"Use all your arms around me."
Yeah.
My arms? What? Oh my god, this show is so fucked up in so many levels, but,
I know.
obviously, we gotta mention the final scene, of course, where, they're on this game show, it's kinda like what was it, like The Voice or, like, America's Got Talent or some shit,
Oh man.
and they're trying to pick the next candidate for the 7, and, so the Deep is actually back on the 7 now,
Mhm.
but not by, choice. It's kinda like Homelander wanted to spite Starlight a little bit, um well, man, that final twist where, like, he's like, "Yeah, me and Starlight, we're a thing now, right?" It's like the dark side of television, right?
Ah,
Like, in a way,
yes.
there's some truth to it, but,
Yeah.
obviously, it was like, Homelander, he fucking hates Starlight for being co-captain, so he's gonna work this to his angle, right? Not fucking Stan Edgar's, way, but tell me what you thought of that scene.
Well, first and foremost, I was so shocked when Starlight tried to pull out the blackmail card again. So I was like, "Oh yeah, now she's fucked." 'Cause this guy says, "But what happens if you do that and I lose everything? Then I have
Hmm.
nothing. I have nothing to lose, and I'll just go wild." So that's terrifying. And now all of a sudden you have this guy who says, we're together now, right? So I wonder what Huey will think about that and everybody else, because Butcher's always like an ass towards Huey. Like he says, "See,
Hmm.
I knew we should have never trusted her." And also, like, she has to be such a strong person too to like go in for that kiss a little bit later on during that reshoot.
I was surprised she initiated it, but I don't know. Like maybe that was Homelander's,
No, she's
way of.
smart. She's smart. She knows that, like, you know what? If he got me, I better like keep your enemies close or keep your friends
Mhm.
close, but your enemies closer. And I feel like that's what she's doing right now.
But how
Like she's
far is she
smart.
willing to go to keep this right?
Bingo.
That's the truth.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
the real test of Starlight's character. Like,
Yep.
cause she knows at the end game is Huey getting this weapon to kill Homelander. That's what everybody wants. That's what Maeve wants. That's what Butcher wants. So how far is she willing to go to get to this goal? And I think that really attests to like how strong of a character Starlight is, because I mean you've seen from her childhood how fucked up the shit she went through, right? And then like being indoctrinated in the Seven with the Deep incident and everything that's going on. So she's kind of more thick skinned, but I think this season's really gonna push her sanity, like how far, like because she's kind of like not just contractually bound, but she has like an obligation. I feel like, well, she feels like she has an obligation to, reform the Seven in a way and bring like Soups back into like a brighter light, I guess you could say, from what, Soups have kind of been like perceived as, or like what they've done over the years. So I feel like she's trying to change that a little bit. But with Homelander, that's the problem, because Homelander is such a force, and like he's basically like he's a nuclear reactor. Like he could just go off at any moment. Like you said, he could just wipe New York off the map, like that. So I really want to see like how far she's gonna go this season. But I love these first 3 episodes. I thought they were great. They really didn't hold back on any of like what makes this show awesome. And just like the little like even like the music choices I thought were really cool, because they always find cool like little songs to make it like cheery, but it's like it's still violent at the same time. But wrap this review up. Any final thoughts for episodes 1 to 3?
Yeah, like I said, I think that it's constantly like making its way up the ladder of being more and more brutal. I can't wait for Hero Gasm, which I think is like episode 6, 7, or 8, because I think that's gonna be extremely brutal as well. And yeah, I think they're doing such a great job, especially like just the whole thing, like we mentioned so much about like the anger, the hate, the suffering.
Suffering.
I think it's gonna be phenomenal, and I hope more people start watching the show. Especially, I just got my dad actually involved, so
Mhm.
more fans.
Awesome.
But yeah, so that's it for the review. I just want to say again, like last video, please guys, do what you can, please, to like, share, and subscribe. These videos take a lot of time to make, and really appreciate you guys watching this, and we love you. And yeah, just follow us on our social channels as well. But Dylan, you could take it from here.
Thank you guys again for joining us. Like Akram said, make sure you're following the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course our YouTube channel. If you could subscribe, even if you don't listen to us on YouTube, that helps our channel grow a lot. But we also post social clips on our Instagram page and our TikTok, so definitely check those out. And we'll be doing episode by episode reviews every week for this show, just like Obi-Wan, and also for Miss Marvel coming up as well. Thank you again, guys. And until then, thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys.